So earlier, while learning about Docker and Docker file, we know if you have to create any custom Docker image, okay, that is our own custom HTML page we want in HTTPD or Nginx, we can use Docker file to create a custom image, okay. And using Docker build command, we used to create that custom image. But using Docker compose also, we can do the same thing. Just we need to add that particular syntax into it. So the next exercise will be how to create a custom image using Docker file and Docker compose. So for that, I'm just creating one more directory structure, my.html app. Okay. In that my.html app, first I'll create an index.html file. The index.html file is created. So there is a typo in it. Okay. So the HTML file is created. So at the same location, we'll also create a Docker file. So we are creating a Docker file as well. So this is very short Docker file. We are using only the fields which are required. It will just download the Nginx Alpine image, okay, and copy the index.html which is at the current location into USR share Nginx HTML. So in Alpine, if you store any index.html inside it, that page will be displayed. So what we have done is we have first created index.html. Now we created a Docker file. Now it's time to create a Docker compose file. So we'll create a Docker compose.yml, and it has only one container as of now. So we are just creating a container called web, also called a service in terms of Docker compose, and we are writing a build statement that search for a Docker file. This dot means search for a Docker file inside the current directory. Okay, build the image. That's why build is there, and run it on port 8080 on the particular host, that is DevOps VM host, and inside the container it is running on port 80. So the command is very simple. So what we are doing is sudo docker compose app -build -d. Okay, so what it will do is, so so it saw that it has to create a web container, then it saw a build statement. So whenever it saw a build statement, it is running at the backend docker build command, but docker build command always needs a docker file. So it is searching for a docker file in the current directory. It got the docker file. In docker file we have mentioned that pull the nginx image and copy index.html in usr share nginx html. So if you see, so there is an error that port 8080 is already in use, because in the previous exercise we didn't do the cleanup. So we'll do the cleanup now. Go to the multi-container. So for cleanup here, we'll have to go to that particular multi-container directory and do sudo docker compose down. So this down command will stop the container and it will also remove the containers. Okay. So if you see, it is stopping the container and also removing it. Now let's go back to,
Can you stop also, right?
yes, correct. Then let's go to our earlier one, and now we'll just do docker compose up. So it will do it fast because it has already downloaded an nginx image. And if you do sudo docker compose ps, it is running a web app, that is web 1. So if you see, it is taking the it is appending the directory name where we are creating the particular docker compose file. Okay, so if you see, now curl localhost 8080 vcn custom html page. Okay, so using docker compose itself, we have created a docker file. So a last exercise.